Hi guys, here's the questions for you. Number one, where did you meet and how did you come by the name?
We all met on essentially Facebook. I put an ad in I'm pretty sure on Facebook for a guitar player, and Joe came along. I had a drummer at the time. I put another ad for a bass player, and then we found Dave. So that all seemed to fall into place, and then Zach came along.
I came in last. Joe asked me to come play, but he and I had been playing together for a long time before that. We'd been in a couple of bands before. We met each other in high school, kind of 15, nearly 20 years ago now.
Me and Zach met when we were younger, probably when I was 14, 15. He would have been 13, I think. And Adam, I met him probably 10 years ago.
The name of the band was originally started in 2006 or 2008, and seeing the name, it was on a piece of clothing or something, and so that's how the name came about with that. And after searching hundreds and hundreds of names on the internet, on Dr. Google, which all been taken, ended up coming with something along the lines of PurEnvy that didn't have any. There was no bands I knew of that name, and it sounded original, and it was the only one that wasn't taken.
How do you go about your writing process and how long does rehearsals take?
Joe and Adam will bring a few riffs to practice, or record them and send them to us and say, what do you think? Joe might sometimes program some drums, and just to give the song a bit of a feel, and then we'll kind of jam it out in the studio for a few hours. We usually try and practice for a few hours every week. Sometimes we do weekends as well, but through the week we'll practice for a few hours.
Somebody comes up with a guitar riff usually, or bass riff or whatever it is, and presents it to the band. Usually there's 2 or 3 riffs to join them together, and then we get jamming on them at rehearsal. We rehearse once a week for about 3 hours.
Lyrics and melodies on the last album, Adam and myself ended up working on the lyrics together, and then we worked out the melodies as well. But this time round, Adam's giving me lyrics and then I'm rearranging them and we work on the melodies together. As for rehearsing, we only rehearse for a couple of hours a week. Which band is the biggest influence you and why?
The Beatles, big influence on me. The way they wrote songs, 3 minutes 50 doesn't seem like 3 minutes 50. Every song is different. Their arrangements are amazing. There's so much to learn from the Beatles every time I put a Beatles song on. One of the greatest pop bands I've ever come across, and paved the way for many generations of musicians. AC/DC, I think, are the greatest rock band ever, for many reasons. Metallica and Iron Maiden are probably all the major ones.
I'd have to go with 4 major influences. Metallica would be the first one, and just for their song structure is what really captivates me. I like really long songs and songs that tell a story, so, and their lyrical phrasing as well. I really like that stuff as well. And Trivium for the melodicness, and I liked how they incorporated all the old influences like Metallica, your Slayer, Megadeth, and all those kinds of bands, and they made it sound new. And if you're asking for my opinion, then I think we do the same thing. That's why we appeal to a younger and an older audience. And At the Gates and The Haunted, I love how brutal and aggressive it is, but it's still melodic at the same time. So you put all those things that I just mentioned together, and pretty much that's how you get our sounds.
Me personally, the big one is these guys. Of course, I'm a bass player, so that makes sense. Iron Maiden were what started me playing bass in the first place. Other bands, the classic metal bands, Saxon, Judas Priest, Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, but also the English twin guitar rock stuff, Wishbone-Ash, Thin Lizzy, and also the Sweet are a big influence.
Big influence, definitely Trivium, Die Hard Is Murder, Megadeth is a big influence for me, Metallica, Iron Maiden, Unearth as well, they're a big influence for me. So yeah, some of that core stuff, but as well as the old thrashy stuff too. And the newer thrashy stuff as well, you know, Lich King, Municipal Waste, all that good stuff.
How do you see the future of Australian metal over the next 5 years?
Interesting question. The Australian metal scene is fickle. It's up and down. And it's like an underground scene. There are a lot of people who love it. If they reduced the beer prices and made it more accessible to people, I think the scene would be much better than what it actually is. Hardest part about Australia, you know, every town has one venue, and that one venue is 6 hours away.
I think it's going to be good. You know, there's a lot of bands that are up and on the rise, and there's a lot of bands coming out as well. So I think, yeah, it's going to be good. We're just going to get through this coronavirus shit, and we'll be all right.
Yeah, hopefully it continues to grow stronger. I mean, it was just starting to probably get better and grow over the last year or so, with many little festivals starting to kick off.
As you know, you're known for your beautiful guitars on stage. I can witness to that, they're beautiful. But if you had unlimited funds, what guitar would you buy and why?
Firstly, thank you for the compliment on the guitars. Thank you very much. If I had unlimited funds, there's two that I'd choose. There's a very, very rare limited Zakk Wylde Bullseye Razorback that was made, but it's about 10 grand. So I forgot it and never leave the house. But I'd really, really like that. And it's another Razorback as well. It's a Rust model. So it's really, really cool.
I already have my guitars of choices. They are Gibsons, Explorer, Flying V and SG. If I had unlimited funds, I would have 200 of each of them.
The weapons of choice, what we use. Some of them here, some of them there. I'll go through the main ones. This is the main stage bass. Spectre Euro 4. We call it Kermit for the obvious reason. This is a weapon. If you check out our clip for Creeping Death, we did a cover. This is what you're listening to. That's on YouTube, you'll find it. Backup bass, if I pop a string or something goes wrong, is Ibanez Sound Gear 30th anniversary. Beautiful piece of gear this. These basses, this Ibanez stuff's as good as anything out there. If I get bored with that and I'm in a pointy mood, I'll use the Sandberg 48, which is a beautiful lumpy weapon. If you check out the Deception film clip on YouTube again, this is what you're looking at. I think I owned it 2 days, and if you can catch it in the light, Adam the dickhead put a bloody great dent in it with his Gibson Flying V. So, anyway, happy days.
What is the first record you bought, to be honest? What's your first record? Doesn't matter if it's really daggy, be honest.
Hybrid Theory, Linkin Park. Fuck yeah.
First record I ever bought was an old school vinyl 45 of the Sweet, Fox on the Run. Still got it, still play it, great song. And that's sort of hard rock was what I was always into as a kid, and that's developed further on into metal.
First record was Green Day, Nimrod. I still love that record to this day. If you've never heard it, I highly recommend you go and check out King for a Day. It's a tasty jam.
Metallica just released the Black Album. CDs had just come out, and that was my first CD I bought. We had a ton of tapes and records that Dad had. A lot of Chuck Berry and stuff like that.
What was the first gig you went to and the most memorable gig you've been to?
Couldn't tell you when my first gig was. I was 14 years old, 13 years old, playing somewhere in a pub that we got, that my father took me to.
Killswitch Engage 2004, 2005, around then I think, Big Top Luna Park. That was wild. Most memorable gig, first time Trivium came to Australia. Fuck yeah, that was insane. I actually got Travis Smith's drumstick that day.
It'd be Metallica at Big Day Out. That was I was so excited for that. First song they played was Battery. Like, oh my fucking god, one of my favourite songs from Metallica. That and Blackened. So I'll never ever forget it. I'm pretty sure I've still got Kirk Hammett's pick too somewhere.
Who have you toured with that when you were watching them, you've had to stop and watch? You didn't walk away to the bar and get a beer and wander off. You had to watch them.
Fucking N.W.O.B.H.M always puts on a good show. Cold Creature, Temptress for sure. Always try and catch Temptress. I hate people. Yeah, I hate people.
Oh, it'd have to be Mason, without a doubt. If you haven't heard those guys, you haven't seen them, next time they come, you got to check them out. Go and check them out now on their Facebook or Spotify. You got to hear it.
What was the next for the band, and is there any new material coming?
New songs are in the works, and the next step for the band, we have to wait. Well, we were just about to head to Japan, so that got cancelled, and so hopefully that's on the cards next year, but you know, that's only speculation.
We are currently working on a few new songs at the moment. There's a little bit on the go. Releasing little snippets hither and thither. So keep your ears out and your eyes peeled, and maybe you'll see what comes your way.
We are working on new material, so there's probably 4 or 5 songs that we've been throwing around with each other, and more on the way. So trying to record riffs and just get them out to the guys and see what they think. But it's happening. It's happening. You know, I'd like to get probably 4 or 5 singles out this year. So we'll see how we go. You don't know.
Whiskey or beer or both? Cheers.
Both. Both.
Is green paint an answer? If I had to choose one, it'd be wheat beer. But if I had to choose a spirit, it'd be wild turkey.
I really like beer. I do enjoy some whiskey though as well, with a nice cigar.
All I've got to say, except stay safe, stay indoors, I guess. We're obviously like every other band. We can't play at the moment, can't play live. We can't even get in the same room to practice.
That's enough for me. That's all the questions there is. Number 10, all done and dusted. Thank you very much. I am Adam. I'll catch you next time. Thank you.
Thanks heaps, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you around.
Ciao for now.